So to convert to a rational exponent, that means to make it into a fraction. This is going to be 17 to 1/3. And this one is going to be x to the third to the 1/4, but we can multiply these together. So that's x to the 3/4. Now going the other way to make it into a radical, there's actually two choices. For a, you can either have the third root of -7 all to the 4th, or you can have the third root of -7 to the 4th. Then for b, what we could have done for a and what I'll show you for b is we can split up the fraction and make this x to the 1/5 squared. So then we get the 5th root of x squared, or the 5th root of x squared. Now to evaluate, that means to actually calculate these values, I first have to make these bases the same to be able to combine my exponents. So I'm going to leave the 9 to the 1/2, but I can make 81 be 9 squared. And now I'm going to simplify this exponent. This is 2 over 1, so when we multiply 2 over 1 times 3 over 4, we get 6/4, which reduces to 3/2. And now we're going to add our exponents. We get 1 plus 3 is 4/2, which equals 2. So our answer is 81. We're going to do something similar for b. First, I'm going to split up my exponent, and we're going to make that 27 to the 1/3 all to the -2. I purposely chose the 27 to the 1/3 because 27 squared is a really big number, and this is non-calculator, but I know 27 to the 1/3, well, what times itself 3 times is 27? That's 3. So now I have 3 to the -2. The negative exponent means move this term to the denominator and make it positive. So now 3 squared is 9. Okay, for c, this exponent goes to both the numerator and the denominator. 4 times 1/4 is 1, negative. And now the negative exponents mean to move that term to the other side of the fraction. Okay, so here, I'm first going to distribute the power, because 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So now I can add my exponents together, and that equals 128. You could have added these exponents first, but you'd have to get a common denominator and then add them together. So I found it easier to distribute the 10 to both, because 2 plus 5 is a lot easier than 1/5 plus 1/2. Okay, so now we're going to do the same type of process as number 7, but we have all variables. This 12 goes to both terms, so 1/3 times 12 is 4. And here, 12 times 3 divided by 4 is 9. Just this x and just this x have the negative exponent. So those are the only terms that move to the denominator, not the coefficients. Now 4 times 6 is 24. Here I can add my exponents, so 2/3 plus 1/6. I need a common denominator. I'm going to make this into a 1/6. So 4/6 plus 1/6 is 5/6. When we divide with the same bases, we can subtract our exponents. And again, we need a common denominator. So we get negative 1 over 15. But we want to write that as a positive exponent, so I move that term to the denominator. Okay, so for letter D, we're going to just compare each common variable. So 2/3 minus 1/3, minus negative 1/3. Well, that's addition. That's 3/3, which is 1. So we have a to the first. Now for B, this is 1 minus negative 2, so that's b to the third. And then negative 3/4 minus 7/4 is negative 10/4, which reduces to negative 5/2. So as one last step, I'm going to move this to the denominator, and we're done. Now for E, we can multiply the exponents. From here, I can reduce the 5 and the 10, so it makes my multiplying easier, and we get 3 over 2. So the answer here is x to the 3/2. For F, I'm going to take the radical and rewrite it as a rational exponent, and then that 1/4 has to go to each term. I'm going to multiply 4 times 1/4. Well, that equals x to the first. Now, what times itself 4 times is 81? And that's 3, so our answer is 3x. We're going to do the same thing for G. So what times itself 3 times is 8? Is 2. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. For H, let's change this x to the 5/3 and x to the 4/3 all to the negative 4. Before we deal with the negative 4, let's combine these. We can add our exponents. 5 plus 4 is 9 over 3. Well, 9 divided by 3 is 3 to the negative 4th. Well, now we get x to the negative 12th, but we're going to rewrite that so that the exponent is positive, which is 1 over x to the 12th. And lastly, for I, this is going to be a to the 10 over 5 divided by, and now the 32 gets the 1/5, and the a gets the 1/5, and then this a gets the 1/5. So simplifying all these, 10 divided by 5 is 2. What times itself 5 times is 32 is 2. We can add these exponents together because the bases are the same, and we get 15/5. Well, 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now I can reduce these. 2 minus 3 gives me negative 1, a to the negative 1, so I'm going to put that in the denominator. So my answer is 1 over 2a.